Welcome back to Hotel Talk, and today I'm very, very pleased to introduce Mr. Savvas Perdios, who is our Deputy Minister of Tourism and a very, very lovely guy as well, if I do say so. So, Savvas, thank you so much for being here today and for carving out some of your very busy schedule to chat with us on Hotel Talk.
Thanks, Farah. I am really excited to be here. Not just because I'll be talking with you, but I think what you're doing is new in Cyprus, quite unique. And I do feel that we need podcasts like this to promote our industry. I say our because, as you know, I come from the industry myself. So, yeah, really glad to be here and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much. And so actually, that's perfect that you've said that, because I want you to tell us in your own words a bit about you, not just the political side now, but really like growing up, your dad was very influential in the tourism sector here in Cyprus. But yeah, let's start you growing up with your brothers, a bit about your background, what influenced you to get into this business and how you ended up doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So tell us your story.
I'll start from the end, okay, how I ended up doing what I'm doing now. The only reason I did it is, politics part. Is because obviously, okay, the president, who I did not know before, I got a call from his office. They said, look, you've been in the industry for a long time, you're young. We've got a new Deputy Minister of Tourism. We need somebody to help set it up. Would you be interested? So obviously, I couldn't say no to that. At the same time, I felt that the country needed a new direction, which is the direction we've seen over the last 3-4 years while I've been at the ministry. And that was basically the reason. Not because I ever wanted to get into politics and not because I want to remain in politics.
Okay, so let's do a quick rewind though, and so we'll go back now in stages. So what were you doing at the time that you got that call, and why were you chosen? Because there's many people in our industry, there's many young people in our industry, and you were obviously handpicked for a reason. So what was that?
Okay, I'm writing down this question. I will answer it, but because I don't want to skip your previous one,
okay,
let me just give the background.
Great.
And then we get to that.
All right, let's go back to the beginning.
Yes. I was born in Cyprus.
Yeah, but which town?
In Engomi.
Okay.
Even though, like many Cypriots, my family comes from the rural areas of Cyprus. We are all basically one generation away from traditional rural life, and I want people never to forget that. Okay, we live in cities now. You live in Limassol, I live in Nicosia. We feel like we're these super city people. We all are one generation away from rural life, and this is very important to me, and it should be important to all of us.
Cultural,
not
village,
to forget. Yeah. My mom is from the village of Pedulas. My father is from Morfu. Obviously, they lost everything after the war. He, luckily for him, he had already finished his military service and was already in France studying hospitality. And actually he was working 2 jobs while studying to send money home. So truly, my parents, they are from a very, very humble background. And everything that they have achieved, especially my father professionally, is purely down to hard work, nothing else. Okay? It's not something that was passed down to him. Truly, he started from nothing. My father is somebody who, like many Cypriots at the time, he was walking around in the street with no shoes, having to sell, halloumi, tzamarella, skordalles in the street and street stalls. So this is something I always want to remember. Anyway, I was born in Nicosia, in Engomi. I don't remember why they were in Nicosia. They told me many times, but I don't know how that happened. I think my mom's parents, they were living in Nicosia at the time, and my dad moved in with them. So that's why I was born in Nicosia. That's where I live. From a very young age, the age of 15, I've been working in the tourism industry. I have done since then every job you could imagine. I've worked since the age of 15 in guest service, in maintenance, bars, in restaurants as a waiter. Later on in my career, I did front office more generally, marketing as well, finance.
Was that because you wanted to, or was that because your father wanted to show you and presumably your brothers the working world and environment, and he was in charge of several hotels, so put you guys to work, let's say? Or was it from did it come out of yourselves as
I'll tell you an
kids?
interesting take to that story. Actually, what really happened is the opposite of what people think. My father, he did not want us to get into the industry.
Are your brothers also in the industry?
Yes, well, I have two brothers, so we're all in the industry. My brother Marios, he is chief of operations for Louis Hotels, which is the job I used to have just before coming to the Ministry of Tourism. And Angelos is the chief accountant at Louis Hotels. My father, being somebody who also did every job imaginable in the industry from a very young age, he knew the difficulties of the industry in terms of work-life balance, etc. And he was always the one to tell us, maybe you should choose something easier, which I think is what every parent is telling their kids. Personally, I don't understand it. Like we have a great industry. This is an amazing business to be in. And he was just protective. But when you grow up seeing hospitality all around you, it's very difficult to accept to do something else and be stuck, let's say, in an office here and there and not be in contact with people, etc. So from a very young age, I not only worked these jobs, but I also started learning languages. So I speak four and a half if you put Spanish in there as well. But hopefully after my job at the ministry finishes, I will...
What are the other two?
Obviously English, Greek, French and German. And obviously I have A-levels on that as well, so not just spoken. Going back to the jobs, I've worked in finance as well, purchasing, etc. Something very interesting. Actually, I had good grades in school, and even though I wanted to get a bachelor in hospitality, my dad was saying, hey, you have good grades. I think it's a shame not to do a course also in accounting and finance. So I did that first.
Yeah, but that's a good base.
It is, yes, actually, it has helped me a lot thereafter. Then from the UK, I moved to Switzerland. I got my bachelor in international hospitality management. And here's something interesting. I mean, the fact that I have been involved with tourism from such a young age, throughout my career, it has actually given me the chance to work for many international companies. I mean, I have worked for Hilton International, Conrad Hotels, Design Hotels, Kempinski, Louis Hotels, obviously, and now this. And also, it has given me the chance to move up the ladder quite quickly, age-wise. I mean, at the age of 26, I was purchasing an assistant F&B manager in Hilton in Basel. At the age of 28, I was 27. Sorry, I was food and beverage and purchasing manager in a hotel in Mykonos, Design Hotel. At the age of 28, I was in charge of the financial departments of Kempinski Hotel in Switzerland. Then at the age of 29, when I came back to Cyprus, immediately I got the job as quality and branding manager of Louis Hotels. At the age of 35, I became the chief operations officer of the group, of the hotel group, 25 hotels in Cyprus and Greece. And then, yes, at the age of 37, I got the call from the president's office.
Which is amazing. I mean, it is really commendable that you're still so young and that you were handpicked out of everyone. And we're a big industry in Cyprus and there's a lot of people in it. So what do you think is it about you that...
I never found out what the reason is exactly. I haven't asked and I haven't been told, but I have a feeling. I have been always very passionate about the ethos of hospitality and about trying to treat people in the right way so that they want to work for our industry. or in our industry. So I think it was 2015. In several events in Cyprus, I started giving some presentations related to how it's very important to get the younger generation on board, and how we need to understand that now there's 3-4 different generations in the workforce, and how you behave towards a person who is 60 years old is not the same as somebody who is 20 years old.
How
So
you want to be treated in
yeah,
the language they speak.
exactly, the language they speak. So I looked into this subject a lot, and I happened to do a few presentations here and there, and I think that was the cue where, okay, maybe words came out that, hey, maybe he knows what he's doing, etc. And I think that's it, nothing else. And
So
yeah.
what made you accept? Because you loved what you were doing. You were in a very good position, obviously being paid as well very well, and enjoying it. So what made you say, okay, I'll change direction, or I'll pause this part of my professional career and do something that is very, very different, and really, I mean, I'm not into politics, and it's definitely not a direction I want to go into, but literally sticking your neck out in quite a difficult time as well.
Yeah, I respect a lot what you said as well, about being paid well, etc. And this is something not a lot of people know. I took a massive pay cut to do what I'm doing
obvious.
today.
I mean, you were running a large organization in the private sector, and then you go into politics. Politics does not pay well,
No.
Unless you're doing something wrong or dodgy. So, which you're
not.
too busy to be doing that anyway.
Thank you.
So, there's a huge. So it's not about the money. It's obviously about the greater good or something else. So, what was your pull to do that, and to take quite a big deviation from a very successful path that you were already on?
For one reason or other, I am a studious guy. So even after finishing university, I read a lot, whether that's geopolitics in general, whether it's what's happening in the world overall, especially about tourism. And over the years, I have quite a big collection of notes with regards to where tourism is heading, what needs to change, not only in the private sector, but generally at the destination level.
And trends, I guess.
Yes. So, like when I got the call from the president's office, obviously I said, okay, I can't answer now. How much time do I have? He said, I want to know tomorrow morning.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it was like split decision. This was like 22nd of December 2018. Like I was starting on the 2nd of January, no time to hand over to
well, I was going to say as well, because you have a certain obligation to your then current job, to not leave them in the middle of a crisis and hand over properly.
Yeah, actually the call to me came through my then boss, Mr. Loizu. He passed the message on to me. Probably he wasn't expecting that I was going to say yes. I did because as I said, it's difficult to say no when the president calls. Second, I really strongly felt that the direction Cyprus was heading into was the wrong one for the next decade. I could see through my studies and through everything I was reading, all of these things changing in tourism, and I could see our country just being a sun and sea destination depending on tour operators and two markets. This is like a recipe for disaster, and actually I'm sad to say, the pandemic and then the war in Ukraine proved that these worries that we all had, they were well founded. So I felt that it was an opportunity to start something from scratch, not in terms of my career, but in terms of, like, we had a clean slate as an industry. It was the first time that the Ministry of Tourism was created. There was a clean slate. It was an opportunity to start from scratch and build things up again in the right way. And I felt ready in two ways. First of all, I felt that the gap I was leaving behind was not huge in Louis Hotels, because we had been working on the things that the company is even currently doing for many years. Things had already been put in motion, and I felt that my successor, who they decided was going to be my brother, he's a very capable guy, a great person, and he knew what he was doing. And I knew that yeah, the company wouldn't miss me so much. So,
Your younger brother?
1 year
Are
young.
you the middle one?
I'm the
The
oldest.
oldest?
Yeah.
And there's 1 year, 1 year, 1 year?
No, it's 1 year, and then the youngest, Angelos, who is the chief accountant of Louis Hotels, he's 6 years younger than me.
Okay.
So I felt that he would do an excellent job, that my hole wouldn't be big. And so it has proved, and I'm delighted about that. And the second reason I felt ready, or the second way I felt ready, is, you know, this background information, this background knowledge that I felt I had. It's like I felt that I already had the national tourism strategy in my hands through my own research, and that coming here, I would need to spend maybe around a year talking to all of you in the private sector, which we did, and I did personally as well, to brush it up a little bit, make sure that it would be on the right track, and then we launched. So it's not like, and this is where, you know, coming from the industry, it was a massive advantage. I did not need 4 years to understand what this industry is. Or
Right, coming from outside, different
or
culture.
who is who in the industry locally, who is who in the tour operator world, in the aviation world. So
And how it works.
yeah, and I was very lucky in that regard because, you know, a year after I started, then the pandemic hit. So
Well, either you were lucky or they did their research and they knew. So yeah, and they picked the right guy. I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch. Not just you opening conferences and speaking and how you've introduced, you know, the direction we need to go at, but seeing that implementations actually take place, which is quite unusual for Cyprus because normally we're a lot of blah blah and, you know, like Elvis Presley said, a little less action.
yeah.
So yeah, it's been really great to see so many initiatives actually take place and initiatives that are working. Maybe not all of them are, and I'm not saying that with anything in mine in particular, but like with anything, if you try 10 things, maybe, you know, the 6 of them are super successful and 4 don't. I mean, I see that in my job, but you don't know unless you try. And I mean, there's so, I can't even think of all of them, whether it's the village tourism, the Cyprus breakfast. Oh my goodness, you tell us. I mean, there's so many things that you've started, and maybe some you're surprised did better than others. The trails, the nature trails. I've got into walking.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
amazing.
it is amazing.
In all honesty, Farah, it's hundreds of things. Because the national tourism strategy, yes, it has a vision, it has some pillars. We can talk about that later if you want. But it's not just that. I mean, every year has a dedicated action plan, and that action plan has maybe 200 things that need to get done every year. There's a follow-up system where every 4 months.
And do you manage to achieve those things?
Yeah, we've achieved around 95% of what I wanted to achieve.
Year on year or in total?
Both. So every year we've achieved 95% of the plan for that year, but in total as well, the first 3 years of implementation of the national tourism strategy, we finished 95%, and the 5% that remains is for 2 reasons. Maybe the pandemic, it showed us that okay, some things were not in fact as urgent as we thought, or and I like to do this, we always set the bar higher than what we can achieve, you know, because if we set the bar at 90%, we would achieve 85.
Yeah, that's what I do with budgets.
Yeah, so you're right that it's trial and error. I mean, a lot of these things, they are so new, they haven't actually been tried before. But also what we need to understand, and this is another mistake that we make in Cyprus, you know, when you make a 10-year strategy, what does that mean? There is a set of actions that will lead to something holistic at the end of that decade. We have to stop in this industry, or maybe in Cyprus in general, expecting that you push a button and out of magic, something happens. This is not the case. So I'm really happy with a lot of the stuff we've done. I mean, changing the identity of the country, I felt this was really important. I mean, now we talk about Cyprus being an island rich in history and culture, but above all, full of authentic experiences, which are accessible to all, are available year-round, and are found at very close proximity with each other. So this is a massive new narrative. I think it's fully aligned with young people today, with new generation of travelers, and authentic experiences is what everybody wants from their holidays and their daily life. And Cyprus is talking about authentic experiences in every single sentence. You will hear me saying that phrase probably 20 times in every interview, It's on every single website, etc., etc., etc. So I mean, SEO wise, I mean, this is massive value, and we're building, building, building. At the end of the decade, Cyprus is going to be the destination in that regard. I mean, you spoke about the nature trails. I want to mention as well the Christmas villages. I mean, this is something that people have gone crazy about it. You know, like people were doubting, you know, why are you starting on the 26th of November? It's too early. But we did it, and it's been really successful. They were saying,
other countries start in September.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's not early to be
Yeah,
26 in November.
The Heartland of Legends is a very important project, and this is the umbrella which connects all of Cyprus's authentic experiences. I mean, it's a route of 3,000 kilometers full of authentic experiences, like going to a winery, picking grapes to make wine with them, or going to a workshop to make traditional flutes or traditional chairs, or being taught how to make halloumi and
Angie Babayuriou actually was just on this podcast, and she met someone on a plane who was a young guy and had come to Cyprus to walk the whole way around the island and was coming back again.
That's crazy, actually,
Yeah.
because Lonely Traveler has ranked Cyprus as one of the top 10 countries for 2023 for long distance hiking.
Amazing.
For this reason,
Amazing.
to walk from one side of the island,
To
it
the
says
other.
to the other. We've done a lot of work on special interest tourism.
And I love how on the few trails that I've done, I'm not an expert, but the signs are there. It's easy to follow. I mean, I'm not a map person. I'm not very good at apps, but you can just literally switch off, get your backpack, and the weather's always perfect in Cyprus. You know, winter, summer, you can find the right time of day, and everything is marked. Like it's all doable. Like even for amateurs like me,
Yeah.
it's doable.
You know, the first...
I'm so impressed. I don't know how you did it. Who did that?
I'll tell you, there's a very real example. I mean, 3 years ago, actually, my team and I, we called the guys from the forestry department and we said, all right, we're going on a hike together. And we went on a hike together, and, you know, there was no signs anywhere.
Yeah.
And then we reached this crossroads, and I said to them, okay, where do we go? And they were like, obviously, we go left. I said, how do you know that we're going left? They said, look, you can see footsteps. And that's when they understood that, you know, the rest of us who are not forestry department specialists, we actually haven't got a clue.
We need a bit of help.
We need a bit of help.
We need the yellow markers.
Yeah, so
and a few arrows.
that has led to an amazing relationship with these people. And yes, we are improving the signage. There's still stuff to be done, but we're working a lot on it. And actually, we're launching a fantastic new concept in February, announcing it officially next week. So you're actually the first to hear this.
Yay.
Whereby in the forest of Paphos, people will be able to spend an overnight in the forest, in forest shelters. So not requiring to camp in a
And
tent.
take their tents and everything. They'll be like
Yeah,
official
forest shelter with doors. There's even a shower,
toilets.
toilet.
I'm there.
You can heat
sold.
the water, even though there's no electricity. You can heat the water with firewood. There is a fireplace to cook.
Wow.
There
And do
i-
you have people have to book this? How
Yeah,
does it
you'll
work?
be able to book it online on the website heartlandoflegends.com. And it's amazing.
Oh, this
'cause
is amazing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
This is like
I've done it 2-3 times. It is insane. One of the best experiences I've had in my life.
And this anyone can do, and what I love about this is this is not just for backpackers, it's not for five-star hotel, it's for everyone. Everybody loves nature, everybody wants to see something different. The pandemic also really, I
Helped
think,
us.
brought it home so many people that they appreciated
Yeah.
just outdoor life.
And what was your first question? You said, does it have a toilet? And that is the key selling point as opposed to what other countries are doing.
Yeah.
Because in other countries, let's say the Appalachian Trail in the US, there's no toilets. There's no running water. You go there, it's a little hut which has not 4 walls, 3 walls. Okay? Whatever you find the hole, whatever to do your things. Yeah. And they even
Already,
tell
like,
you.
cringing.
Yeah, and
I'm not
they
a camper, you can tell.
yeah, they tell
Nightmare.
you, hey, you know what? Don't leave any food outside because
Yeah,
the
'cause-
bears are gonna eat you at night.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when
or snakes.
I
Oh,
saw these documentaries during the pandemic, you know, obviously we couldn't do anything, so I was doing a lot of research on YouTube, and then
Oh, I got so many ideas from Netflix as well.
Yeah.
Like restaurants. And...
we clicked. We said, okay, if this is what other countries have, then what we need to do, quality-wise,
What can we do
needs to be at a higher level. So we devised this, and you can have your shower once you finish. There is a picnic site on spot where you can cook as well. There's a fireplace in every room. It's amazing. Trust me, it is the thing to do in Cyprus, even for locals. And this is really important because I'm sure you've noticed most of the things, if not all of the things that we are doing, they are first for us locals. Because this was always a complaint in Cyprus, there's not enough things to do. So we're trying to change the narrative locally as well, doing things that locals will be able to enjoy on their free time. And obviously that in itself is for us the best marketing.
And be proud of their country and share it on social media and tell people about it. And also, have holidays here. I mean, it's great to go abroad, but we don't need to go abroad 4 times a year. You can go once or twice and then holiday. Actually, just in our hotel, it's some years second biggest market, even the local market.
It's amazing.
Which is amazing, yeah.
Amazing to hear.
Yeah.
You should be very proud of that.
Yeah, well, we are. And we really try and push it and we really try and take care, because I think in the way back when, the old school mentality was, we've got a local here, who cares? It's one of us. What do they need to know? But, it's so important.
Let me give you a stat. On Google, the searches we get for Cyprus, in terms of activities, places to stay, etc., 80% is coming from abroad. That's a big number.
Okay.
But what does that mean? That 20% of global searches for Cyprus and things to do, they are from people who live here.
Yeah.
That is a massive amount of interest.
Yeah.
I mean, there's almost 1 million people living in Cyprus who need something to do every single weekend.
And happier people make happier workers, make happier shoppers, make happier everything. I mean, it's, we want positive environments.
And I look at myself, okay, nothing against Nicosia, but I hate city life. I hate it because...
Well, Nicosia is not the best one. Truly Masolian now.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of traffic, there's not enough nature, there's too much noise. You need it. I
would say that's something we're quite lucky in Limassol, because we're so long and thin. We're like this, caterpillar along the sea. And then, so just 2 minutes up, we're in a village. And it's, you can walk. Even driving our kids to school, we go through a little village, it's really nice.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So let's go to, how was it having your dad as such a big, I know we've touched on that, but I want to touch on it more. Your dad was he CEO of Lewis?
Yeah, still is.
Still is. Very well known. I mean, that's a powerhouse. He is very well respected. How was that growing up with such an influence like that? And did you ever feel in his shadows? Did you feel more encouraged to do more and fight more and learn more? Or I've asked other people this question as well, and I also have the same, grandfather that was very well known, dad very well known, and I know how it affected me in good ways and sometimes not so good. How was it for you?
Yeah, there's 2 sides to my answer. I mean, obviously you have the good side, which is being able to be in the vicinity of legends like that, because my father is a legend. Okay, I'm not the one who says it, everybody else says it. And if at every place I go to, people ask, are you the son of Jason? That tells me that he's a legend. So to be in the vicinity of a legend in the house, but also at work, it was a blessing in terms of work. It still is a blessing in terms of family. And I am certain that I took a lot of good practices from him, not only in terms of being productive, but also how to think, what's important in business, in our industry. I mean, working for him and being his son has been the biggest university I could ever wish for.
Was he tougher on you than maybe with others, or?
Yeah, he was very tough. I'm the eldest. The expectation has always been huge from him. It was very tough growing up, and even to this day, I think all 3 of us, we still feel the need to always prove to everybody that I'm here, or my brothers, they're where they are because we deserve to be. We work hard. I work 100 hours a week minimum, and that's a crazy amount. I mean,
It's crazy.
a week has 170 hours or something.
Yeah, and when do you sleep?
Exactly. So
Well, you're looking good for it.
thanks.
I know, I need
Thanks.
a
It's
secret.
because of my vegan or plant-based nutrition. That's why.
Talk about that as well.
So I think for every youngster, especially in Cyprus, where it's a small community, everybody knows everybody, I think we all have a parent or a grandparent who is or has been successful. And that's what happens with baby boomers. Coming out of those wars, they had no choice other than to become successful. Okay? So a lot of us do have successful people in our families. Now, you have a decision as a youngster to make. Are you going to let that put you down? Or are you going to use that to drive you? And if you ask me, number one reason why I work as much as I do and why I behave the way I behave, it's because I always feel that I don't want to let him down, that I don't want to let the family down. And it's not a bad thing to have to be accountable to others, even though they don't tell you that they expect this and this and this. To feel accountable is a very, very strong motivator. So that's my urge. I know that a lot of people feel this pressure on their shoulders. Don't let it get to you in the bad way. Use it in the positive way, and keep at it, and people will understand that, yeah, obviously you've had some advantages by being the son of this and such, but at the end of the day, you do deserve to be where you are.
Does he tell you that he's proud of you?
Never.
Yeah, like my dad, ditto. But you know what? I am pretty sure that he goes to places now, however well known he is, and people say, "Are you the dad of Savvas?" So, and I bet you that puts a big smile on his face. So, I'm sure. So, what are your hopes for Cyprus? I mean, I know you're very vocal about it. You talk about it. We can see it, but in a nutshell, where would you like to see Cyprus end up?
It's a great question, and I know that a lot of the things I will say might sound repetitive to those who follow what we are doing at the Ministry of Tourism, but at the end of the day, what people must understand is that my vision for Cyprus also happens to be the vision of Cyprus for itself. Not because of me, but, we all, as stakeholders, talked about where we want Cyprus to be. Hence, the National Tourism Strategy, hence what I believe is possible, because if I did not believe that something was possible, it wouldn't be in the National Tourism Strategy. And I want to start by saying this. It's great to always want to be the best, to be the number one, to be the best destination, the best service, the best food. At some point, you need to be realistic as well. So my targets for the country, they are targets or visions, call it what you want. They are visions that I believe are achievable. If I was saying to you that I want Cyprus to be the number one tourism destination in the world, I'm sorry, that's fake. So we've tried to be realistic with the targets, but put them high enough to drive us. So when I say that I feel that by the year 2030, Cyprus can be on an ongoing basis in the top 30 countries in world tourism, I fully believe it. Now, as it stands, in terms of tourism competitiveness, and this is official by World Economic Forum, we are 31st. Greece is 28. So I think that...
So we're already there. I mean, 31st.
We're there, but the competition is growing so much around us that we have to work hard not only to get into the top 30 and be there consistently, but also not to lose ground versus countries that are currently behind us, like Turkey. You see what they're doing? They're doing crazy things. Dubai, Saudi Arabia, a country to look out for. Currently, they're something like 44, something like that. I'm telling you, Saudi Arabia, by the year 2030, they're going to be in the top 30. Who are they going to displace? It shouldn't be us. So that's one. Second, I believe that Cyprus can and should achieve a guest satisfaction of minimum 90% by the year 2030. Now we are at 86%. So it's not low. By comparison to our surrounding destinations, we're doing quite well. Turkey is 88 and Greece is 87. If you take away Santorini, Mykonos, Constantinople, etc. from Turkey, they drop quite a bit. But what I'm trying to say, and I think this is what we have to understand, Cyprus as a whole will never be a 5-star destination. As a whole, it's impossible. We do not have enough 5-star hotels.
I don't know if anywhere is a 5-star destination.
Exactly. So that's not realistic.
Only have a 5-star. Who wants that anyway?
So our philosophy is this: if Cyprus is going to be a 4.5-star destination, which I think is achievable, what does that mean? You have to satisfy fully 9 out of 10 guests who come to Cyprus. Hence the target for 90% guest satisfaction. And I think this is achievable. We're already at 86, but there's still stuff to be done. We've talked about many of these things, whether this is public transport, for example, or the problems you have, especially in Limassol, on the beach road. I mean, in the area of Ios Tichonas, for example, it's unacceptable. What you see there, and bricks laying here and there, cleanliness and stuff like that. I mean, these are things that we need to improve. Now, what is very important to me, and I think to all of us, is for Cyprus, through the work that's being done now, to become a year-round destination. I think it's the only way to be attracting people into the industry on an ongoing basis. Who wants to work for an industry that is not going to be able to pay them 12 months a year?
Viable.
Exactly. So becoming a year-round destination by 2030, I think is very important and achievable. Higher quality destination, we spoke about this. Digitally smart destination, what does this mean? Using data and digital metrics to make the right decisions at the right time. I think we're doing that pretty well, actually. A more inclusive destination towards people with mobility problems, different backgrounds, different beliefs, orientations, etc., preferences, exactly. A more climate-friendly destination. And I don't mean this only in terms of how much are we building the country. I mean, at some point, and this is one of the next things that we're going to be looking at. Okay, is it reasonable to keep building in every area of Cyprus at the pace that we are currently building? At some point, we need to think about that. But this also means promoting Cyprus more intentionally abroad as a climate-friendly destination. Let's not assume that we have nothing to say. We have a lot to say about Cyprus being a climate-friendly destination. I mean, with our mountains, and we have the cleanest waters in Europe. And yes, maybe here and there there's stuff that we don't like to see, like the graffiti, etc. But trust me, you go to countries, I don't want to name them, and at the end of the day of walking, your nostrils are full of
black.
Yeah. So we need to be talking about these things. And finally, what is very, very important to me is that the benefits from tourism, they are spread as much as possible to the whole island. The mountains, the rural areas.
We spoke about that with Haris Theoharos as well. Or not just that, sorry, that you were getting into now, but the ripple effect of the tourism industry. I mean, if you start with a hotel, how many suppliers? You might have 200 suppliers. Maybe you buy a screw from one and a whole load of vegetables from another, but you're buying, and then that then goes on.
Yeah.
So the ripple effect is huge.
Exactly, and this is an opportunity for me to ask people, and especially hoteliers who might be listening to us, that even if you have a property by the beach, whether that's Limassol or Larnaca, do give your guests a chance to enjoy all of these things that the Ministry of Tourism is setting up in the rural and mountain areas. I mean, it's an hour drive.
Absolutely, and not to be selfish and try and cocoon people in. Send them out, tell them go and go explore the island.
Because it's a cycle. If we really want more individual travelers, which will then urge airlines to add Cyprus on a year-round basis, so that we don't only depend on tour operators, we have to give these customers, these guests, the chance to see other parts of Cyprus and create more generic demand. Okay, if the only thing somebody is seeing when they come to Cyprus is hotel facilities and the beach right in front, I'm sorry.
They'll come once and
they'll
they'll
come
go
once.
twice the month.
That's the end of the story, and that's tour operator model. Okay, we cannot afford as a country to only depend on tour operators because, my friends, listeners,
Amen.
let's wake up. Tour operators care about selling Cyprus in the summer only. And I'm talking about the tour operators who are chartering. There is not a single tour operator who over the last 4 years has told me that they are ready to charter flights to Cyprus in winter. Not one. And maybe I'm hurting a few people by what I'm saying, because everybody thinks that the big tour operators we're working with today in the summer, they care about the winter. They don't.
It's all about money.
Exactly.
I mean, it is.
So
It has to be for them. It's
the
not their
winter
fault.
must and will depend on scheduled flights, on individual travelers,
Connectivity.
OTAs, dynamic packaging. So there are sacrifices to be made by all of us in order to reach that level.
And we need that to go throughout the year, not just in winter. It has to be there in summer to continue
Exactly.
into winter.
How are you going to create demand for the winter if people don't see what you have available while they're here in the summer already?
Absolutely. And then say, oh, but I need to come back because I want to experience Paphos.
Yeah.
Or I didn't go on that hike on the other side of the island that I wanted to do. And they'll keep coming back. That's what I mean. I would just rate it down. It's not just to be the best. And personally, I don't believe in being the best in anything, because whatever you do in life, there's always going to be someone better than you on anything you ever do, individualistically or as a company or as a country. But to do your best, that's the main thing, and to keep doing our best. And I think the key to that is education. It's people listening to your words now, to this podcast, to anything, to speeches, reading books, and keep on trying to be better. How do you think we're going to achieve a lot of this?
Well, a lot of this is already what's the word? I'm looking for the phrase in English.
In place.
Not in place. In Greek, the word is trochodromimeno.
So we're on the road already.
We're on the road already. So the national tourism strategy is not just a theoretical document, as I said before. A lot of the actions necessary to get us to 2030, they have already begun. A lot of them have already begun 3 years ago, some 2 years ago, some last year, some this year. So these things, we're on the way to getting there. The important thing is for the ministry, whoever the next minister is, to continue with the same focus, the same diligence, to implement at the same pace what has already been done, what is already on paper, and for us as stakeholders to keep supporting the Ministry of Tourism. Because, and this is not a complaint, absolute support for the Ministry of Tourism was not a given from day one. Now things are much better. I think coming out of the pandemic and also the war in Ukraine, people have started seeing that we are serious at the Ministry of Tourism and that we know what we're doing. So I feel a much greater support for the work and for the national tourism strategy now compared to 2020.
When it started.
Yeah, I mean 2020, it was a horrible year. Not just because of the pandemic, but for the ministry and me personally as well, because we had the weight of the world on our shoulders. It's as if it was our fault that the pandemic happened. And I understand that, I get it. We never reacted to that. We just put our head down and worked and worked and worked. And now finally, we've managed to show people that from difficulties, you can have opportunities. And what Cyprus has achieved in 2022 is probably one of the biggest achievements I've ever seen this country achieve probably second only to what we achieved after the war in 1974. We achieved 90% of revenues compared to 2019. 90%. I know that not all hotels can say the same, but as a country, we achieved 90% of revenues compared to the year which was an all-time record, and in a year where we had zero arrivals from Russia and the Ukraine. And we did this through our work on product, special interest, flights, good marketing, and we see now that the EU is waking up to Cyprus. And thankfully, our absence over the last 20 years has been so big in the EU that now Cyprus is like a new destination.
New destination, rediscovered. Yeah, not even rediscovered, it's just new. Yeah, I mean, I personally think that what you guys have done is amazing. I think what you've done is really admirable. I'm very grateful for everything that you've done. And to be honest, that the government did, and I said that to someone yesterday, I feel as an industry, we were supported so wholeheartedly during the pandemic, during crazy times. It was like watching a bad sci-fi movie and then living it. That's how I felt. Like it was something that 2 years before the pandemic, if we'd heard like, oh, they're making a movie that's going to have this, we'd go, oh, don't be ridiculous. No one's going to believe that. You know, you can't even suspend your disbelief so far to watch it. And then we lived it, and it was insane. And I can imagine that you came under a lot of fire. I don't follow the news daily because I just find it too depressing. I'd rather educate myself on more positive things and ways to move forward. But I hope that you did feel supported at least by some people.
I did, yeah.
Do I take it that you're not intending on staying in politics from your words, or?
Look, overall, as I said, politics was never a dream for me. And you will never see me as a minister of another ministry. Never. And this is never going to happen. Whether or not I will be at the Ministry of Tourism in March doesn't depend on me, to be honest. In all honesty, everything I've wanted to achieve for our country in these 4 years, I feel that we have achieved it. I never came here with the intention to stay for 2 terms. Since day one, I said to myself, okay, what can we and should we achieve in 1 term?
What's doable?
What's doable in 1 term? Whether that leads to a 2nd term, yeah, whatever. It's not something I lose sleep over. And also, Farah, you know, I looked this up actually. On average, every politician is in term, not only in Cyprus but globally too, for 2 years. So I've been here for 4 years, 2 months. So that's already
beaten the stats.
Already beaten the stats. So I'm not losing sleep over whether I am going to be the next Minister of Tourism. What is important to me is that the key decisions for the continuity of what we have been doing are in place. They have been taken. Yeah, my urge for all of us, now that we know where the country is headed, what the Ministry of Tourism has been doing, to keep supporting and being strict towards the next government and the next Minister of Tourism to keep following this path. Because frankly, I don't want to see anybody take back the work that we've done. Not because I was part of the work, but I genuinely feel that we've done good work, like you said. Okay, the fact that Cyprus no longer depends on the Russian market, for example, and I say that truly with a broken heart for those hoteliers who have lost a lot of money because of the Russian market. Okay, but the fact that we do not anymore depend on that market, let's not allow ourselves in the future to go back to depending once again on that market or any other
market,
or
any
other
market and any company. We've been doing the same
exactly
for years, decades. It's so depressing. If you look at like our history books, I mean, it's one company collapsed, everybody went you know, whether it's bankrupt or we lost so much money and then we did it again, and we've allowed these giants to come and take over, and we do it again and again and again for short term. Nobody sees the long term, and I really hope I couldn't agree more. Right, now onto my favourite subject. Let's talk about veganism.
Yeah.
Are you vegetarian or vegan now? Because I know originally you were vegetarian, but now everyone's saying vegan, so...
Yeah, okay. I'm actually neither.
Okay.
What I am doing, I do not eat processed food.
Okay.
There are a lot of vegans who might eat margarine.
Beyond meat or...
Margarine.
Yeah.
Or processed non-meats. Processed... non-cheese or whatever they call these products, or croissants, which they're vegan. I mean, these things are still processed. I am not gonna have
well, the normal croissant is still processed as well.
It is, yeah.
I'll be like, yeah.
Obviously.
So,
What I mean is, you know, sugar is processed,
yeah.
margarine is processed,
See,
gluten is processed. So
whole food plant-based diet.
Yes,
Okay.
with the exception,
Yeah. Should I cover my ears?
no, I eat fish
Okay.
once a week,
Okay.
just to make sure that I cover the needs of my body for vitamin B12.
Okay.
Because B12,
I can give you a supplement for that.
yeah, but what is the point of eating naturally if I'm gonna be taking supplements? But this is a good decision, you know. I am willing to look into that. Okay.
But, you know, it doesn't exist in the fish, yeah, the B12.
No, it doesn't.
They get it from the plants, so you could just have the plant.
Okay, well, I
I'll
will
talk
go
to you-
back and look into that
Look
again.
into it,
Because my only
B12
concern...
isn't produced in a body. Like even red meat or any meats that people say we need the B12 from. So B12 is from the soil and earth and then goes into plants. So traditionally, let's say a cow or a pig or a fish or anything will get the soil. They'll eat the soil with the grass. I mean, they pull it out, it's not, and they're eating B12. So the B12 then stays in their body. And in old times, we didn't sanitize our vegetables, we didn't wash them properly. We didn't have a carrot or a potato and it still have a little bit of soil on it. Obviously, in an organic environment, we didn't have pesticides. So when we boiled that, there would still be a bit of that soil. So we were getting B12 naturally. Whereas now we sanitize everything, it's all washed, it's all peeled. And then the animals are also eating, not really grass, or even if they do, it's not...
They're also eating processed food.
Yeah. And so what they do is they inject B12 into all the animals, or they feed it to the animals. And then when we eat those animals, we get the B12. So actually that same, say, input into the animal, we can get... But you can get other things from fish.
Very interesting. That's very interesting, though. I'll take a look at that, because that was
I get my... So there you go, listen.
No, that's fine. I mean, that was my only concern.
Yeah.
What
Iodine is you get from fish, but then you can get seaweed, because they're only getting it from the seaweed. Protein.
Anyway, that will be very easy for me to remove, because that's just one meal a week. And you know, maybe you're gonna ask how this started, etc. Actually, it started 10 years ago. I was actually 120 kilos back then.
Wow.
Now I'm 75.
Like half. Oh my goodness.
So
we've got Christos in the room. He's also adopting a healthier lifestyle, and he's lost 30 kilos recently.
Amazing. So at that time, our family, we lost 3 or 4 family members at a young age, whether from heart problems or stroke and things like this. And I said, come on,
Western diseases.
It has to be related to food. There is nothing, it has to be. So I read into it a lot. 20.
Were you all quite chubby or overweight?
It's always something that runs in the family.
Yeah, so you like
wanting to eat a lot and being a bit over. I've always yo-yoed my way through every single diet out there, etc. And I started reading into this whole processed food thing, and bit by bit I started removing processed food. And this has led to obviously me losing all of these kilos, 45 in total. Yeah, I did it in a sustainable...
me.
Yeah, like in a sustainable way. Actually, I lost it in a couple of years, not in 3 months.
Because then you'll just yo-yo back, and also your skin will droop, your muscles will react.
And actually, I lost this weight without exercising. It was just the impact of me changing the way I eat.
Because also you boost your metabolism.
You boost your metabolism.
Fiber,
My energy has increased tremendously. I don't need a lot of sleep. I can work 1,000,000 hours a day.
Well, and you look great. I mean, I don't know. This will come out in video at some point, but until then, if you don't know what Savvas looks like, Google it.
Thanks a lot. So, I mean, certainly changing my lifestyle in this way is something that really impacted and helped my career tremendously. Because if you can put that much additional energy on the table, and then I think it helps a lot. So
that's amazing.
It helps a lot to deal with stress too. I mean, obviously, I do breathing exercises every morning at 6 for around 20 minutes. Gets my thoughts together. A lot of people call it meditation, but it doesn't need to be given that name. I mean, a lot of
meditation is in so many forms. It could be in prayer, it could be in a walk, it could be in time with your dog. I don't know, whatever.
The important thing I think is just to make sure your brain gets oxygen, because we don't give it enough oxygen when we are eating, let's say, 50 times a day. Let's face it. I mean, if you're eating 6-7 times a day, like the bodybuilders are telling you, oxygen, instead of going to your brain, it goes to your stomach. It's simple as that. So I'm really into that and how to optimize my brain for work and being present and these things.
And has that interest in leading a whole food plant-based diet manifested into an interest for the environment? Because obviously it's much better for the environment, and being Deputy Minister of Tourism as well, that's obviously on the agenda as well, to make Cyprus a cleaner, more sustainable destination.
Originally, I did not do this for the environment, but obviously now, knowing what I know about the impact of raising animals and eating meat, etc., the impact it has on the environment, it makes me feel very happy that my personal lifestyle is probably one of the least detrimental to the environment. And I think that is a key question that we need to be talking about more going forward with regards to the environment. Yes, reducing plastics is important. Yes, recycling plastics is important. But actually, I feel, probably you're going to agree because you looked into it a lot, one of the biggest personal changes that anybody can make to help the environment is what we eat and from
Absolutely.
where, I mean, if you're going to bring a carrot, even if you're eating carrots, like if your carrot is going to come from Argentina, come on. Let's think about these things.
Eating local, seasonal.
And at the end of the day, it's a way to keep money into Cyprus as well, because this is one of the problems that we currently have, leakage. We're bringing all of this revenue from tourism. A lot of it is actually, though, leaking to other countries because we are not growing enough in Cyprus. And a lot of the times it's because we, as locals, we accept to buy from abroad just because it's cheaper.
It's cheaper. Yeah, it's a difficult one when you get people looking as well at their, their
especially this day and age.
Yeah. And also, I mean, just taking out beef from a menu, that's the biggest impactor for carbon footprint. So if people can reduce their meat consumption, they don't have to go full vegan or fully plant-based, but if they can have some meals that they do just have vegan meals, plant-based meals, whatever they want to call it, they will make such a difference to the environment. And the same thing with hotels and any organization. I mean, there's many organizations around the world that have. First hospital was in Lebanon, actually, that went plant-based. It was good for their patients, good for their bank balance as well. They were supporting local more, and there's so much to be said for that.
Something we've done as a ministry to push this, one of our product labels is vegan-friendly hotels and restaurants. You are certified. And the reason we did it is not only to be able to give businesses an additional voice, an additional marketing tool, but also to educate. A lot of people, they hear vegan and they think that vegans, for example, they eat fish or crustaceans or cheese. No, they don't. Okay, so this is something that we, as hospitality professionals, we have to be aware. One of the biggest or the most important things that we need to educate ourselves now is about these nutritional preferences. What is a pescatarian? What is a vegetarian? What is a vegan? What is
trends and
this
what
is
someone's
really, really
lactose
important,
intolerant
you know,
or whatever.
because we have a chance in Cyprus, because we are not an over-visited country. There's no over-tourism, thankfully, yet. We can personalize this experience. If you manage to personalize this experience for guests, they're going to keep coming back.
Absolutely, and they feel special. It's all about the experience. Okay, I ask everyone this. I don't know why, but I love it. Give me a favorite quote or a favorite book or something that you love saying or that inspires you.
Okay, can I give you 2 quotes?
I love to have 2 quotes. You can hit me with 3.
Okay. One is lions fight until they win.
Okay.
And I like that quote because it reminds me that we will always have a tough time, whether on a daily basis, whether here and there. I think the last 3-4 years have shown that, and we should never give up. No matter what happens, it reminds me to keep at it, and things are going to be okay. The second quote is, the clock is ticking. And I think of that quote in many aspects of life. It helps me be grounded and be thankful for things that are happening in my life now. It helps me as well to remind myself to pay as much attention as I can to the people that I love, because the clock is ticking. And also, it's a reminder to always push and be as productive as I can at work, because we don't have an infinite amount of time to do what we want and achieve what we want. So these 2 quotes, I mean, they're quotes that I read or look at in some way or another every single day. They are posted on the door here, or a wardrobe there, or a reminder comes on my phone, and yeah, they are like my essential tool to keep me on my toes every single day. As for books, okay, I've read obviously many, but I loved Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's the way that we ran Louis Hotels based on those principles. It's the first thing we did at the ministry when I got there, to decide why are we here, the purpose, our values. And I think it is the number 1 tool that any business leader or business owner should use to get everybody on board and in the same direction.
And understanding the culture and the reasons behind a business.
Totally. I love the books by David Goggins. He's a bit out there, a bit aggressive in terms of always doing your best to be your best, not the best, your best, what you said before. But strong motivator. Obviously, by David Hahnemann, is that his name? Or no, Dr. Furman, Eat to Live.
Okay,
a great book.
Yeah.
It talks about...
He's also on Instagram, I think. He's got a nice Insta account.
And he's basically saying that the more whole food you eat, the more satiated you will feel, so the less hungry you will be. Basically, that's the message.
And that you can keep eating. And I think a lot of people that go to plant-based food, they get shocked, they eat more, but that's okay.
Yeah. I eat so much food.
Yeah.
Like,
but your body
kilos per day.
Yeah.
Kilos of food per day. And so, other books. Have
you read How Not to Die by Michael Greger?
Not yet.
I have to read it. It's amazing. It's like my Bible.
I
go-to for help.
Look into that. The trainer of Michael Jordan, what's his name?
Oh yes,
Tim Grover.
Tim Grover.
He's got a couple of books, and they are also very, very interesting.
That's about discipline, I think.
That's also about discipline, you know, and again, not about competing to be the best, but about yourself. You know, it's very easy to allow others or other things to take away your focus. And at the end of the day, you need to specialize. in doing a few things very, very well. Whether that's, it might be your career, they might be family, they might be your health, but you cannot at the same time do 20 different.
Can't be everything to everyone.
Yes, something's gonna go amiss. So, yeah, overall, off the top of my head, these are.
Those are your faves. I love it. Are you very forgiving to yourself, or do you put a lot of pressure on yourself?
No, I'm not actually. It's one of the things that I must change. I cannot and I should not continue being so hard on myself because, everybody deserves a bit of self-encouragement or being able to enjoy a moment here and there. I'm not good at all at doing that. And it's something that I have to definitely do because at some point I am worried that it's going to impact my health. So that's something that I have to do.
And burnout, which happens all too often in our industry. Yeah. And I think, oh my goodness, through politics into that. And yeah, definitely. I'll put my mommy hat on and say, love yourself more, be proud of yourself, and know that you're enough because you are. Bonus question. This is from our team. So everyone at St. Raphael got to put a little question in this crystal bowl. So I'll read it to you.
Oh, okay.
Just if I can decipher the words. So George from HR asked, which is the most popular trend in the hospitality industry? Oh my goodness, I can't believe you got this question. Answer like your favorite restaurant or where you like to travel. Okay, so which is the most popular trend in the hospitality industry?
To say that in one sentence, it's difficult.
We need another episode.
But I'm going to say, give one sentence, but a few words. I think that now people are starting to understand the value of holidays which combine authenticity, personalization, real local experiences, connection with nature, and a place where they can connect with the people they're traveling with or the people who are offering service to them. So I said 5 things there. Okay?
So authenticity
in the hospitality, in the welcome, real experiences,
which again is authentic experiences.
Yeah, nature. Okay? A place which is really giving them the chance to connect. There's another thing I said, I don't remember what it was. But rewind that, and I think that's the way it is. And what does that mean? To make it more easy?
To connect with the people that they're offering the experiences and connect with the people that they're with.
So to make it maybe easier, I'll tell you what is not in fashion or what is not going to be in fashion over the next 10, 20 years. Yeah. We will not see any more massive hotels being built as in the past, where you
500,
have
1,000 bedrooms.
Yeah, where people are just a number passing by, and even those hotels. Yes, even those hotels that today are currently having a big number of rooms, they are slowly finding ways to repurpose some of those facilities. Maybe adding a medical component to their hotels, or making it a mixed-use development. So having maybe also flats for sale that they're servicing.
Like us now, we've got a tower, luxury residence.
And actually with the mixed-use development scheme that the ministry initiated last year, existing hotels, block hotels, they can say, you know what, I have 5 floors, I can take the top 2 and sell them as flats. So I think this is going to be a big trend going forward. Health and wellness is a segment that I see a lot of hotels getting into. I think it's a great way to repurpose facilities, and health and wellness is not only about spa and all of these things. There's a huge...
It could be medical tourism, it could be recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I think the days of in and out, people just flying to a destination and getting some sun, getting some food, getting some drink, they're not yet over, but in 20 years, people are going to be thinking and looking at that model and saying, my God, how could you have been holidaying like that?
Mm.
I mean, in my life, actually, I'm 41. I have never had a holiday like that. So if I have never had a holiday like that, imagine the 20-year-olds of today.
Mm.
I mean, so
It's all about experiences. And I think
yes,
that's the key word of the moment. It's about
yes,
an experience, an authentic experience.
yes,
Nobody wants to go to a village square and have a few tables thrown together and be told this is
yes,
a meze. No, they really want to genuinely, and then be served by foreigners. Let's say they want
yes,
to go and really experience a village life and walk around and buy things that were made by someone who lives there and hear a story from someone who's having a coffee and tell them about authentic experiences.
exactly. And let's be careful not to throw that word experiences lightly around, because it's been around for 10 years or so. Let's think about exactly what that means and make sure that when we're telling our customer, our guest, that we are offering authentic experiences, that we are truthful about it. And it's okay if by offering these authentic experiences, it's okay if they're not actually in the hotel. It's okay if we take somebody by the hand and take them somewhere outside.
To Farah, to, wherever, to go on a hike, to go up to the mountains. We want them to see our island and love it.
Exactly.
And I think that's something that maybe here in Cyprus we're a bit guilty of, is people are so afraid of competition. And they're so afraid of different and unique, and then when something does work, everybody copies it because they think, oh well, that works. They don't try and say, well, that worked, let me try and do something like it but different.
You're right.
And I think that's maybe a mindset that we have to break as a whole. And
I'll give you a stat. Only 15% of travelers worldwide travel exclusively for a beach holiday.
15%.
1-5.
Yeah.
And in Cyprus, we've made it seem
that's
as if 80% of the universe wants to go on an exclusively beach holiday.
Yeah.
Let's think about that percentage, 15%. What does it mean? There's 85% of the world interested in something else,
they might like the
or
beach,
something additional.
But yes, exactly.
Okay, so there is a lot of scope to do something a little bit different than our neighbor. I'm just saying this to reinforce your message that yes, there is so much out there, and I'm excited about the possibilities that tourism is bringing about.
There's enough for everyone. Like, I don't know, that's always been my philosophy, and I've been now working for over 20 years. I've always, when we used to travel to exhibitions, when exhibitions was like the thing, even the public ones, and I'd meet people and they'd tell me what type of holiday they're looking for, I would very often say, oh, well, I'm not for you. Let me introduce you to... And everybody thought I was crazy. I was a young 20-something-year-old, but I was like, no, guys, I don't want someone in our hotel who doesn't want to be there or who's looking for something else. They're just going to be miserable. We're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
Better for them to come to Cyprus, but go to X, Y, or Z, and then I'll get someone else. But the majority will try and twist it and be like, we can suit everyone. And then we go back to trying to be everything for everyone and actually being nothing for anyone. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. I talk a lot when I start talking about tourism. I apologize.
But you love it, and that's what's so nice, is that it's not put on, it's not fake, it's not something you don't know. It's a passion for you, and that's why you read so much about it. That's why you took this position, or you were headhunted for this position, and then you were so good for it because you already had the background, because you had already learned so much. And
it's my whole life.
It's your whole life, yeah. And I wish you the best, whether you stay in this position, and I hope that you do for a bit more. And whatever you do afterwards, I know that you'll succeed at whatever you do, because you've got the drive and you're definitely that lion that will fight to the end. Are you a Leo sign?
Yes, I am.
I knew it. Anybody who loves lions. My son is called Leon, so also a little lion. All the best, Savvas. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Farah. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate being here. Thank you so much.